Welcome to JKD Talks. Today we got an awesome topic. The topic of today's discussion is why your martial arts teacher sucks at teaching. It's going to be a very good talk. If you're new here, my name is Joel Pollard. I'm a martial artist. I've been doing a lot of martial arts for several years, and I'm a Jeet-Kune-Do practitioner. Today's topic is a very good one. Why, in general, most martial art teachers suck at teaching. I say it's you because your teacher probably does suck at teaching. It's gonna be a great topic, a great video. There's two main points to this, and it's something I've thought about for a good while, and it's the reason why there's just not that many good teachers. The first main point is that your martial art teacher does not want you to get better than him. That's the truth. And with that ego, it's going to hold the teacher back and they're not going to teach you everything. And that's a huge, 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 huge flaw. To be a good teacher, you have to put aside your ego. You have to. But most, 90% do not do that. Yet again, we're all human, we all have egos. Most likely your teacher, yet again, does not want you to get better than him. So he's not going to show you everything. You might think he's going to show you, but he's not. He's not going to show you the secret stuff. He's not going to show you all the techniques. He's going to show you some stuff. He's going to help you a little bit. He's going to make you get a little bit better, but it's going to make sure you don't get up to his level, which is wrong. If you're teaching somebody, it's because you're trying to help them in some regard. If you're trying to help, you can't be selfish and say, well, I'm not going to teach him the whole system. I'm not going to give him everything because, well, I don't want to make him better than me. I thought of this because I was talking with a friend, and he talks about how his karate teacher, or whatever, they would spar, and the karate teacher just beat him up. And every time they sparred, every time, the karate teacher would just beat him up. And it's super annoying and raging because that's ego. Beating up the student is not going to help him every time. You beating him up every time is not going to help him. It's not. I don't care. I'm not sorry. What that was is, well, I'm better than you. I'm not going to let you get any good. I'm not going to teach you everything. I'm just going to beat you up every time we spar. How does that help anybody? How does that help the student? How does it help the teacher? If a guy's teaching martial arts and he cannot beat up the student, that's a problem. Then that guy, he just sucks. I mean, you need to stop teaching. So clearly, a martial art teacher should be able to beat up the student. But the point is that you're not supposed to do that because nobody benefits from that. The student doesn't learn if he gets beat up every single time. You can still be really good and show that your level's above your student without beating him up. But yet again, that goes back to you're not helping the student. You're not helping. It's ego saying, well, I'm going to show him some stuff, but I still want to be really good and I want to keep him down here. That's what it is. And yet again, I mean, I show some guys stuff. I coach a few guys, and that is the ego problem. It's a problem. And even I feel the same thing at first. I did at first. Not wanting the guy to get better than you because ego. Because you train and how to feel if this student got better than you at a quicker rate. Like, oh, but you have to put that aside. If you want to teach somebody correctly, and more importantly, the best teachers put that aside, and in their mind, they want the student to be better than them. That is a good teacher. That is a mindset that a good martial art teacher should have, or coach. That's why the older coaches, the older teachers are really good. Because now since they're old, they're not as fit, they clearly are not going to be as physically of a good fighter. Now they can say, well, I'm old, my ego's kind of dropped down some. Now I'll give them everything. I'll give them everything because clearly I'm not going to be able to fight that much. So I'm going to give him everything now so he can be better. The problem is they're old now. But with teachers that are 50s and under, they're still somewhat young. They can move. They can still spar a lot. They're going to hold back. Their mindset is, okay, I'm just gonna give you just enough so you can get okay, but I'm gonna keep all the good stuff for myself, right? And then when you get up here, I'll show you one or two things, but I'll stay up here. And the whole point is they don't actually want to. They really want to help you. That's the honest truth. Because what they should do is say, you know what? I'm a black belt in such and such. I'm good, but at the end of the day, the teacher should genuinely want you to be better than the teacher. That's the point. That if I'm training somebody, I want that person to become better than me. And that's how I'm going to teach him. So a good teacher would say, you know what, I'm a black belt in such and such. Okay, that's fine. But I'm going to still give this guy everything he needs to know. And I'm going to give him all the tips, all the tricks, the technique, teach him everything, teach him how to do it correctly and why to do it so that one day he can be better than me. That is the truth. That's what we need. And most young martial art coaches, they're not for that. It's so much ego that they don't really want you to get that much good. That they want you to be good, but they're not better than them. But now, at least for me, what I've been doing, yet again, I really, really, really get in the mindset of I want this person to be as good as they can possibly be. And if they get better than me one day, that's good. That shows how good of a teacher I was, that I was able to help this person and get them better than me. That'd be great. The way I cope with this, at least in my opinion, is that I know if they are going to be better than me, well, they'll have to work harder than me and train harder than me, which is incredibly rare and probably not going to happen. But if they did train as hard as me, well, then they would deserve it. But obviously, you need obviously put in the reps, put in the work, and all that stuff as well. So the odds are they're probably not going to be good as a teacher. That's the truth. That the student would have to be working as hard, if not harder, than the coach or the teacher. And if they're not, well, then they're not going to get better. But yet again, for most people, it's just the fear that, they're getting closer to me. They don't like that feeling. But instead, that should fire up the coach to train himself more and to get better himself and still teach the student everything he knows. And to still teach the student all the techniques. I mean, that is the biggest thing. One thing Bruce would talk about to Jesse Glover was that in the old days of Kung Fu, with the old styles, there were a lot of legends of these Chinese masters that, incredible legends. One of the legends come from a Tai Chi master, and this is one of the reasons why Tai Chi has a legend of being the most effective or the most deadliest Kung Fu form, was because legend has it that the greatest Kung Fu master was a Tai Chi master. That he was so good that, long story short, he tracked down a man-eating tiger and killed it with his bare hands. Now, whether this is true or not, I don't know. But, I mean, people in those days were really good. That's all I did. That's all I did was train. So the story goes that he finds this man-eating tiger and kills it with his bare hands. And that he was just no one could beat him, the world's best Kung Fu master. But he ends up dying. Doesn't have any students. That's the whole point. So now you have this great master dies, and now all the knowledge is lost. And that's the whole point, that you have these coaches that hold back. They don't teach you everything. That, okay, I'll show them about 30%, but I'm going to keep the good stuff for myself, right? But then if something happens to that teacher, or if the teacher moves away, well, now it's lost. I mean, yet again, if you have a really good teacher, and he only shows you 30%, 40%, and then God forbid he dies, but that's it. All the knowledge that he had, all the knowledge and techniques and the philosophy is gone now. I mean, and that's something that Bruce realized that and thought of, that a lot of the old Kung Fu masters of old, hundreds of years ago, that were really good and that had these techniques and that were really good, all of them died. And they did not pass down the knowledge that they received. Because yet again, especially in those old days, they were not going to show you the best techniques, because they needed to keep the best techniques for themselves, just in case if you challenged them. I have the chop choy or something so that if you try to challenge me one day, I can defend myself. But yet again, what does that do? That just keeps all the best techniques to the grave. Because yet again, these teachers didn't pass on the knowledge. But that's one of the biggest things in martial arts, that you want to pass on the knowledge. It's the biggest thing in life, really. That whatever you're doing in anything, if you get good at anything, you want to pass on the knowledge. And when you have ego and you have this feeling of, oh, well, I want to be better than them and I want them to be okay, but not better than me, you're not passing on the knowledge. If you like what you're hearing, then don't forget, please hit the like button and subscribe. That way, for free, you get access to these videos, more and more new tutorials, reaction videos, podcasts, all for free. Don't forget to subscribe. And lastly, if you want to learn more Jeet-Kune-Do martial arts or even work with me myself, then I have a $10 course right in the description of this video. $10 a month, anyone can afford it, but you get access to hundreds of videos, work with me personally, and as well as martial art courses and Jeet-Kune-Do courses. So it's a crazy steal, $10 a month. But if you can't afford that, that's fine. Please subscribe, like this video, and share it with a fellow martial artist. Thank you. Because let's say a guy I teach, a guy I train, he could train someone, and that someone could be the next Bruce Lee. But oh, since I have ego, I want to hold back, and I don't want to teach this guy anything. I don't want him to be good. Now, I'm being selfish. And that doesn't help anybody. The whole thing of teaching is that you're helping. That's what you're doing. So you don't want to hold back. You really want to teach the person, give them everything you know. You really want to help them. You really want to share that knowledge so that he can pass it on to the next generation and the next and the next. That's how it works. I mean, that's literally how martial arts have always worked. That the best martial artists, best instructors, they hide the best techniques and they end up dying and moving away. And then the techniques just vanish. I mean that's it. They just go to the grave. It's a waste. It's pretty sad. So it's very important to really instill to every teaching, really give them and help them, and really don't hold back. Like, what's the point? Like, the biggest thing for me, like I said, I'm a Jeet-Kune-Do practitioner, and it's funny that this is actually something that the early JKD students would do. You know, the Bob Remmers, the Tim Tackett's, the Dan Masanos. I actually end up teach the guys I train everything I know, and I show them everything, because yet again, now they get really good, one, and two, now it's hard for me. Now I gotta keep my game up and be really good and be really fast and see how can I get around somebody that is good? How can I get around somebody that can intercept, that can move, that can punch and kick? Now it's a hard challenge. And that's something that Tim Tackett and Dan Asano, those guys in back in the day, that they would say, you know, they would try techniques out and they would throw out techniques that would not work against a JKD practitioner. That they would literally, I mean, crazy enough, that they would literally test techniques out and it would have to work against a good boxer, a good wrestler, and a good JKD guy. And if it didn't work against these three guys, they'd throw it out. But that's the point, that it makes your techniques even better, because now the techniques have to get better because your training partner, your opponent, your sparring partner is getting better by default. But yet again, now he's getting the knowledge, he's learning everything, and then you're constantly evolving and constantly changing and constantly growing. So it's a continual process that makes you better, 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 because it gets harder. But that's the point. You shouldn't hold back your knowledge. You should let go of the ego and really try to just help the person. That's what it's for. You're trying to help the person. That's the biggest thing. The second point to this is that most likely your teacher is not adapting the style to your style. The teacher's not adapting, he's not adapting the martial art you do to your own style. He's just cookie cuttering it for everybody. Meaning, yet again, most teachers, they teach you karate, they teach you the form, they teach you whatever, and they just give the information. They say, here, do it like this, do it like me, do it like this. Oh, you're not doing it? Oh, you're doing it wrong. No, do it like this. That is not how humans operate. Everybody's different. We each have our own styles, our own preferences, our own strengths and weaknesses. Therefore, in any martial art anyone does, they will have to personally develop it for themselves. I mean, of course, and this is a very big part of JKD, that any style, we all have different makeups, body types, strength, weaknesses. You're going to have to adapt the system for yourself. It doesn't matter what style. I mean, obviously, if it's a striking art and the guy's short, you got to take that in consideration. If he's short, he's not going to have range. He's going to have to fight differently. And a good teacher is going to have to see that and help the person find his way of fighting. But most teachers, since they don't really care, since they say, well, I want to be really good and I want him to be okay, but not good as me, they just show him the same stuff. And then the guy gets beat up, and then it's like, well, keep your hands up. And it's like, that doesn't help. Like, they don't actually say, hey, look, you're shorter than me, you're slower than me, you're smaller. You're going to have to fight differently now. I'm going to show you a different way to do this so that now this complements your style, right? If you're shorter, you're going to have to use more distance, speed, in and out timing. It's different. Head movement, but that's the point. After you're taller and longer, that's the thing. Even for grappling, like, it doesn't matter the style. Everybody's going to have to fight differently. Everybody has different strengths, different weaknesses. And so now I go into that. Depending on the student, if we're doing grappling, let's say we're doing jiu-jitsu, and the student, he has a wrestling background, at least for me, we are going to focus on getting his wrestling and making that complement his jiu-jitsu. In other words, I'm going to make his style revolve around his strength. We're going to use the wrestling. And it sounds common sense. Like, if he's a wrestler and he's doing jiu-jitsu, well, obviously we want to use some wrestling and more takedowns. But no, so many people don't do that. They say, oh, we're doing jiu-jitsu, forget the wrestling. Hey, we're going back to guard. Guard, pull, da, da, da. No. Or any art. But they don't say, hey, what are his strengths? Let's figure out how to incorporate his strengths into this style. So if he's a wrestler and he's learning jiu-jitsu, let's work in more takedowns, more single legs, more ankle picks, more double legs, more throws, more sweeps. Let's work in that, and maybe a little less fighting off the back. Because you're a wrestler, you're really good on not fighting off the back. You're really good at takedowns. You're really good at single legs, double legs, ankle picks. Let's work on that and learn how to grapple from after the takedown, rather than just trying to throw you into trying to pull guard on everybody. Because obviously for a wrestler, pulling guard is very weird because they're not trained on their back at all. Which, yet again, of course, you'll teach that later, but his strength is going to be his takedowns. So you can work on that first. And this is something I've done with every guy I've ever trained, well, at least recently, I can't say ever, but recently, we work on the strengths first because for me, the JKD, it's about efficiency, simplicity, and directness. Is that this stuff works. And I've used it, but more importantly, the people I've trained used it. And that's more importantly. Doesn't matter if I can do it. What matters is if the guy I trained, if he can do it in real life. That's what matters. And I have a perfect track record so far, knock on wood, that the guys I've trained, a few of them have used it. They said, Joel, thank you, man. Thank you, bro. It worked, man. I did the move, and it worked perfectly. I did it. Bro, thank you. They wouldn't tell me that if I said, well, I don't want to actually give them the real techniques. I actually want to, we'll do forms first. I'll show them the forms first for about a few months. And then we'll work into some horse stance. And then we'll go into some punching about 2 years later. No. Day one, I teach them the most important stuff. Figure jab, lead punch, leg obstruction, side guard. I teach them the real stuff first. Why? Because they can get in a fight tomorrow. And I want them to be able to defend themselves. So just like I'm telling y'all, what I do when I teach people, I say, hey, yet again, I want this guy to be better than me one day. I want to give him everything that I know. So that it helps them. So that if they have to use this, it works. And it has. Yet again, you don't need to train for 10 million years, 12 years. No. If teachers stop beating around the bush and show you these forms first, and we go over kata, and we go over conditioning and horse stance, and if the teachers just taught them the legit real stuff first, hey, we're going to learn how to actually fight. You teach them that first, then everything else can come into play later and it'll make sense. And that's the biggest thing, at least how I teach Jeet-Kune-Do. We go over the real stuff first. Because one, if they need to use this, if they need to use it tomorrow, they can use it tomorrow. You can't tell the mugger on the street, hey, you can't fight. I only learned the kata today. I only know how to do this. No. It's either do they know how to fight or not. And yet again, all the guys I've had that I've had to use it, it works. Yet again, it doesn't matter if I can do it. Notice that they, in a short, very short time, they can do it. I've been doing this for years, and they can do it in a few months. This is great. That's the point. Is that I'm not beating around the bush. I'm giving it to them, and that's how it should be. I want them to be good. Because for me, at least, I knew that it took years of hard work, years of research, years of finding teachers and doing this stuff to get where I am. And I'm not that good, but to get to where a decent skill level. As a good teacher, I try to be. Because, I had Stephen Francis Fong, one of my teachers. He's awesome. He's helped me a lot. I know it got very hard to learn all this stuff. So I want to shortcut that experience for them. I want to say, hey, it took me years to learn this stuff, and I'm going to teach you right now. You're going to learn stuff right now, easily. That's the point. I want to help them. I don't want to make them take years, too, to learn the same technique. No, it took me years to understand it, years to master it. Now I'm going to shortcut it and streamline it to help you. That's the point. So that if you do need to use it in a month, you can use it and you can defend yourself. That is the point. Yet again, coming back to the main second point, most teachers just do not, and most teachers, they don't analyze the student and say, what does the student actually need and what is he actually good at? Yet again, they say, well, I don't want to be that good. We can't get him too good. So we're going to go over cookie cutter stuff, the basic stuff, the normal stuff. What they should say instead, who is this person? What background does he have? What strengths does he have? And analyze his style. That's what they should do. And then from there, craft and work in their martial art in that. For instance, for me, JKD still, one of the guys, I might have mentioned him earlier, Big Spence, good guy. We trained him, he's really good. He's natural, very quick. He's more of a street tough type of guy, really good. He can punch hard. Street tough type of guy, but doesn't have a lot of martial art experience. But as a fighter, can punch hard, box a little bit, and been in fights. From training with him and just seeing how he moves in the first few times I saw him, from training together, I realized, okay, he's a good puncher. He punches hard, off rip. He telegraphs at first. We're going to fix that. Punches hard, street fighter. Okay, we're going to work with that. We're not going to make him just do kicks now. Hey, I'm going to show you some crescent kicks and jumping hook kicks or we're going to do grappling right now. No. The first things we went over, how to punch harder, how to punch faster. Why? His strength was already in punching power. So I saw automatically, if I can get him punching even harder, he's going to knock people out easily. And then we can start eliminating that telegraph, getting speed involved. And then from when he gets his hands good, then we'll add a simple kick. Not a complex jump kick. No, a simple leg obstruction. Why? Because the leg obstruction complements hitting. It's a very low line attack. I can kick the guy while I'm punching. And for Spence, it works very well. That's the point is what I'm getting at, is that for each person, you're going to have to individualize whatever art you teach. You're going to have to specifically make it for them and change the way you teach it for each person. That is how you teach. For another person, I'm going to have to go a different route. Let's say he has a Taekwondo background. We got to start over. Okay, Taekwondo, let's work on your kicks a little bit more and keep your hands up. Let's learn how to kick and punch at the same time and not just kick all the time. Now, say if it's a grappler, we're going to learn, okay, grappling, we're going to take the grappling base. We might work on clinch stuff first. Because, yet again, especially for self-defense, you may or may not want to do a takedown. The guy might try to grab him. And he might have to, use a clinch, knee, elbow, and then go for a takedown. So each individual person is going to be different. I can teach them the same exact art. We have to teach it differently to each person because they're all different. And when I do that, they get really good really fast. And that's the point. That when you individualize it for the person and you see what they're good at, what they're bad at, and you're able to specifically make the adjustments for that person, they get really good really fast. You know, and then you might say, oh, well, they're getting the traditional guy might say, oh, it's getting too good. Now I gotta slow down. But no, that's the point. It's that they're supposed to get good really fast. It's not supposed to take 10 years for the student because it should have took you 10 years. The teacher, it should have took him a long time to learn. And the whole point of us learning under teachers is so that we shortcut the process. That's the whole point. That's the whole point of why Bruce Lee learned under Yip Man. Yip Man took, 30 years or so learning Wing Chun and was able to teach to Bruce Wang Shenlong and teach it much faster. That's the point. It's supposed to streamline the process. Because at the end of the day, teaching is about helping people. It's about helping. You can't help people if you have an ego where, oh, I don't want to give them too much. But that's the biggest thing. When you're going to see it now more often, especially when I see like coaches spar or instructors spar their students and they're trying to take their head off. It's annoying because I can clearly see, okay, this instructor does not want a student to be better than him. And it's like, what? Why are you teaching him then? Why in the world would I teach somebody if I don't want to actually teach him? If I don't want to actually give him all the good stuff? What's the point? I saw something like that a few months ago. I don't say the style. Some old instructor was sparring with a student. No, they were doing drills. They were doing drills and they were videoing the drills. And the instructor, the instructor's going all out trying to take the student's head off to try to look good for the camera. Sure, I know, I have a YouTube channel, I know. He's trying to look over the camera. And I'm like, this dude's old, out of shape, retired. Why is he trying to show out? Trying to make his student, because he's making the student look bad. But it's like, if he's your student, shouldn't he be taking it out on you and he be really good? Shouldn't he be demoing techniques? But no, you clearly watched. I saw he's clearly ego-driven. He still, at old age, he still doesn't want his student to be better than him, which is so stupid. You had your chance, bro. You're old now. Help him now. It's stupid. Learning, teaching is about helping. That is the biggest thing. So the best ways you can help people is by not having the ego, by saying, hey, I'm going to actually teach you everything I know, and I'm going to help you. And vice versa, it's looking at their style, seeing what they're good at, and actually analyzing what they're good at and how you can individualize that style to help them. You're going to have to shortcut. You don't want to just teach everybody forms first, or teach everybody hits first, or teach everybody kicks first. You have to switch it up for each person because everyone's different. And obviously, too, with this approach now of teach someone everything you know, well, now you will have to find somebody that is a trustworthy person. But since martial arts is about the money nowadays most of the time, that's another thing. Since it's so much about money, teachers can't afford to do that because they're scared about how good the guy is and, oh, he might try to beat me up or something. He's a bad person. But I say that's when it shouldn't be about the money. It should be about helping somebody and finding the right students that are good people, respectable, and trying to help them and teach them as much as you can and trying to share as much knowledge as you can so that one day they can pass it on or use it. That's the point. So if you like this video, hit the subscribe button, the like button, and that is going to be it for today's video. If you liked it, please leave a comment down below and share it with a friend. And without the way, stay safe, peace, and keep training.